this is Netty from Mindful Patchwork, and I just thought I'd give you a little tour of my sewing room. Now, you're going to have to excuse me, it's a working sewing room, so it's a bit cluttered and it's a bit messy. But I thought I'd start out by just mentioning this. I made this at the start of the Ukrainian war, and I said that it won't come down until the war's finished. Bits have fell off it and everything, so that's staying on the outside of me door till Ukraine wins. Anyway, let's go in. Now, as I said, excuse me for the clutter. It is the second bedroom in my house. So, and I've got a lot in it because it has to accommodate sewing, overlocking, there's a cover stitch there, embroidery, dressmaking, lots of home crafts. Yeah, there's a lot that it needs to accommodate. So let me start off by just twirling around. I've used every ounce of space. Some vinyls are stored there, and this is my embroidery sector where all the embroidery flosses go, etc, etc. That one's fell off. In here I've got all tools, and there's fabric stored in there. That's a big bag of part of my tool collection. There's patterns and dressmaking fabric in there, which I don't get to a lot because I've not had much. So basically I just pull this out when I need to get in there. I know what's there, I've labelled it all up. I have a book, so I know what's what. On here are just some projects to remind me that I need to look at those. They're for me new next lot of oven gloves. That's something I need to make up for a class later in the year. That's an on-grown bargello I designed, which I need to finish. That's my overflowing scrap basket. Now you can see it's very tiny because that's on purpose. It's overflowing. I need to get that sorted. Some kits that are waiting for me to make up as part of my 36 quilt project challenge in 2026. Then over here I've got a wall of tools, various tools. I've got lots of stabilizers, lammy fix, that sort of thing. I've got my giant pom-pom maker there. I've got my wall. This is mainly my dressmaking thread wall here. So that's all dressmaking threads there. So it's mainly Goosemans, a couple of my reflexes and that. Yeah, so there's odds and sods of tools there. There's some dressmaking weights, mat cleaner. I've got some pom-pom maker and yo-yo makers up there. I've got some transfers there, some tapestry and weaving stuff there. I've just got all my little tools handy here on this bit of a peg wall. This is a 1.5 metre pull-out table. It's going in the spare room when the husband retires, so that can be a dedicated cutting out. But I just mainly have it set up like this, which is suitable for what I need to do from patchwork. So as you can see, I've got project laid out there. This is an EPP project my friend cut out for me, so I'm just playing with that for a little bit. Got my cup of tea ready, and then under there I've got various dressmaking bits and bobs and tools. This is me bits and bobs on, what is it called, Deflecto. So I've had this now for about 5 years. This is what I started out with for my haberdashery tools. Now I've got 2 rooms, it's ridiculous. I've got a lot of, this is my high chair, so when I'm sitting up here designing at the computer I can sit on this. And under here you can see I've got some fabric bolts. There's also fabric bolts over there as well. So I know what's what. I've been very good, I've curated it all, so I know exactly where everything is. And then under here I've got various drawers in the Kallax, which got zips and stuff in, and then I've got a lot of Crafter's Companion builder blocks here, and these hanging up here, so that's all that. I've got the Continental MH&O set up in here because I'm just doing mainly patchwork at the moment. It'll go downstairs next year into a bigger space when I start doing the quilting of the tops that I'm doing. I'm not really doing any major quilting this year. I'm probably just going to do small free motion, like pillowcases, that type of thing, cushion covers, you know, making small things like that. So there's enough space there for me for now, but when I do the quilt I will move to a bigger space downstairs, or the husband will have been retired, so this will go into the spare room and I'll have a 1.5 metre space to set the machine up on. Bit of an ironing station there, mode a jigsaw I made years ago. rope basket. Now that basically, when I've got a lot of embroidery threads that I need for a project, I get that down, fill all my threads in there, so they're all by hand over here by my embroidery machine. That is some of my patchwork threads, mainly Aurifil, a couple of Gutterman in there. I think that's mainly odd some isocord as well, and just a little tool board. That's my little top broom. So you know, when you've got threads in there, just give it a quick sweep rather than getting the hoover out basically. So here are the kits that are all stacked up ready for me to make. So all those have been made into kits. I'll have all that space available. I've got some bag making bits up there. There's my lovely little rag doll. There she is. She sits up there guarding my room with a few bits and bobs. There's another kit there that I've started. That one there, Tatula Texas Lone Star, but I'll have to get to that. So this is my bookshelf. You can see it's bending under the weight. I love my books. I've read every single one of those, by the way. These are all my pattern folders. Let me move my mannequin out of the way. These are all my pattern folders here. Some of these need to go in this one. I got this one from Sewing Street for free, so I need to fill them up in there. These are all fabric that I've measured and I've written on what I want to make with them, so I need to get more dressmaking done this year. Once I've made them up, they'll go. I've got my colour cubes behind there as well. I've got some wool felt in there, a couple of bits and bobs, things that mean bits and bobs to me. Up there I've got some Liberty Tana lawn in the Liberty boxes. I've got that box with the world map on, that's got my tie making stuff on. Oh, I've just found another quilt kit up there in that brown bag, I forgot about that. I've got some cord making tools in there, and in those two I've got a I've got some felt making stuff and some other bits and bobs that I just they grab and go. Fabric down there, this is a bag project I'm making for a friend that I need to start. It's been there for a year. I lost it at one point, so yeah. This is my mannequin. She's not an adjustable one. She's a size 18, which is what I am, sorry. Size 18 one, and she's practically my fit, maybe smaller boobs. So I got her, so yeah, you can just stick things in her. She's only polystyrene, but it's better. I found her better than the adjustable ones, to be honest. This skirt's been on there for a year. It needs a waistband and a hem, and that's it, so I need to do that. Then I've got various, this is my, I'll stand back here. This is my Kallax with most of my fabric in it. So I've got like boxes of plains in various colours. There's Cafe boxes there. I've got denims, upholstery offcuts. I've got upholstery backing fabrics. I've got all kinds here. This is a bag full of pins that I made, a big triangular one. This has got bra making stuff in. This has got things like Anna Maria, a deal in it. Got a little message from people there. Tilda, I've got pom-pom trim. Up here I've got boxes and boxes of trims and kits and panels, and there's a lot of wax making stuff up there, you know, for wax wax cloths and that. Orphan block boxes there. Bless it, it's not full. Yeah, but there's elastics and everything in there, so all my trims are up there. I've got Tilda in there as well, and I've got more fabric in there. All fabric in there. That's mainly my little Sashiko corner there with all my Japanese fabrics and Sashiko. Underneath here, that's my Dear Jane box, so that's got everything in it that needs to be there. That's all my small rulers for projects, and under there I've got things like iron the June Taylor iron on stuff, I forget what it's called now. And some fleece backings there and some other bits and bobs. This underneath here is mainly my dressmaking patterns, dressmaking bits and bobs, so I know everything's there. Buttons are there, and then over here I've got more vinyls. I've got some art storage boxes in there with pre-cuts in. You can see I've labelled it. I've got some hardware in there. There's a lot of bag making stuff over here. The serger. Under there's all my waddings and stuff. I've got my big rulers hanging up on the wall, and then I've got things like my overlocker thread, small pieces of vinyls, bag making stuff, embroidery hoops hanging up. Here is my 1938, keep it covered up, but that's my 1938 Singer, my hand crank, my little Vulcan. ribbon box. It's my lovely man. A little stained glass thing. Yeah, so this is the embroidery station here. So I've got plenty of space there. Cover stitch goes there. So basically when I'm working here, this is my June Tailor, so it flips to iron, and it's a cutting mat. I've got a big rotating cutting mat there as well. I've got my iPad plugged in, so I can do some filming or watch movies and that. So that is basically, if I stand over here, that shows you what I work in generally. I do have a quilt wall there, but as you can see, when we redesigned the room, that had to go in the way of it. So it's a bit of a waste of space at the moment. But to be honest, I've been up there for 5 years, and stuff doesn't really like to stick to it anymore. It's really old. I think I've picked that much fluff off it as it's balled up and it's become unusable. I probably do need a new one. So when the husband retires at the end of May, I'll redo his study, and I'll probably redesign this as well, and that'll be moved away from there, because that can go against this wall once this table's out the way. So I did used to have the table in front of there, but it blocked entrance in from the door. So that's my upstairs sewing station, which I absolutely love. It's my little cave, and I really love coming in here, surrounded by all the beautiful things that I absolutely love. And I know it seems like a lot, but it's only took me 6 years to get to this stage. It's a good job I haven't been doing it for much longer, I'd say. But yeah, this is my little space. You see, I've got dedicated stations. I've got enough room for what I need. And if push comes to shove, I could always have somebody up here sewing if I just move the embroidery machine out of the way. So I could sew up here with a friend. But I do have a downstairs sewing station as well, which I've set up in the dining room. Which makes sense, because it only gets used twice a year, so I might as well use it for the other 363 days, mightn't I? So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of my sewing area. It's probably not as nice and neat and clean as some people's, and it's clean, but it's maybe looking a bit more cluttered than some people's. But I meant to say, they're all projects on the go. In these, I buy these little bags and keep them hanging on various hooks just to remind me to do them. But yeah, it's maybe not as neat as some people's, and I do love these. I got both these, aren't they gorgeous? So they're just in there. So I'll just give you a little glimpse. Can't go too far, but I've got this bit of the study here. So as you can see, a lot of it's to do with teaching, so a lot of it probably doesn't need to be there anymore. But yeah, it needs a total reorganisation, so that's probably going to be Kallaxed, and this is the room that will have the pull-out table in it for the cutting room. So I'll have both of these spaces. I'm not going to knock them into one, because I basically lose storage space, but I can have this as like the dressmaking area, and because I do only use one specific machine for my dressmaking. So I can set that up as a dressmaking area, and then the other room will just be patchwork and homewares, which will give me a bit of space in both rooms then. And the husband doesn't mind, because he's going to be playing golf all day. So hey ho. But yes, that's it. Thank you for joining me on Netty's sewing room tour.